know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in D.C. The Capitol has been breached, as many of you have seen. For the first time in my lifetime, you've seen people actually climb over the walls of the Capitol building and actually break into the halls of Congress. Somebody actually went up on the stage and grabbed the microphone and announced that they believe that Donald Trump is the winner of the presidency. Now, here's the deal. Here's what I want to break down for you guys. It's very sad for me to watch, to be honest with you. I don't like to see our country in this particular state. I think that we've often taken it for granted that we're able in this country to have transitions of power without bloodshed. That's a privilege that I think we're going to lose at some point because I think we've abused that privilege. I think that capitalism, among other things, and racism and a lot of other isms have caused us to put these freedoms in jeopardy. So these freedoms are going to go out the window. I guarantee that. Here's the thing. I want to say this to black people, to the intelligent black people who might be listening. This is not your fight. I don't believe this is black people's fight because I don't think that whether the liberals or the conservatives come out on top of this, I don't think black people are going to win. So black people, this is not your fight. If Antifa beats out the Trump supporting rednecks, this is still not your fight. Whether you talk about the LGBT-led Democratic Party or the capitalists in the Republican Party winning out in this battle, this is not your fight. None of these groups that I've mentioned, in my view, have any deep concern for the stability and the prosperity of the black community. Democrats are happy that Warnock and Abrams pulled it off down in Georgia. But if you read books like Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson, he clearly proves beyond any doubt that black quality of life does not improve with more black elected officials, Democrat or Republican. He's proven this. He has proven this. And we know that Congress, this is the same Congress that made you wait 9 months to get a $600 check. They do not care about the American people, and they sure as hell don't care about black people. So as I say again to black people, this is not your fight. I took some time to go study Vietnam and the history of Vietnam and the Vietnam War because I didn't understand the Vietnam War, but I know the damage of the Vietnam War. My father, who has a post-traumatic stress disorder from the Vietnam War, he would tell stories about being thrown out of an airplane and having to figure out how to use his parachute. He talks about going to sleep in a ditch that night and hearing bombs going off in the distance. He talks about some of the things that he did and had to do in Vietnam that he can't even speak of to this day. So I was always curious about the Vietnam War, and I wanted to understand the Vietnam War out of honor and respect for my father. I haven't visited Vietnam, but I'm going to do that at some point. Well, the reason I'm thinking about the Vietnam War is I took the time to watch a 10-hour documentary on the history of the Vietnam War. I couldn't understand, why were we over in this little country sending tens of thousands of people to die, hundreds of thousands actually, destroying our country, ripping our country apart, blowing up people's villages, killing people that we don't even know. Like Muhammad Ali used to say, ain't no Viet Cong ever called me, you know what. I'm not going to say the word because the bots will pick it up, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Muhammad Ali's out of my hometown of Louisville. Well, I remember reading about a guy named Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was one of the great leaders of the Vietnam War. He fought against the United States on the communist side in northern Vietnam with the Viet Cong. Ho Chi Minh was a great leader, kind of a Malcolm X type figure for the Vietnamese people. And the reason I bring up Ho Chi Minh in this conversation is because one of the things that Ho Chi Minh did that I thought was quite visionary was he realized after World War I that when the white people started fighting, that was his opportunity to help his people escape oppression. For over 100 years, the French had occupied Vietnam and treated those people terribly. And when he saw World War I break out, he said, this is our chance. White folks are fighting. He told Vietnamese people, this ain't your fight. We got to get free. Let's break out while they're fighting each other. We need to go liberate ourselves. The French were too busy trying to defend their own country to occupy Vietnam. So that's when he actually tried to lobby for freedom for his country. He didn't succeed. Instead, Ho Chi Minh made what I consider to be one of the greatest mistakes of his whole life, which is he aligned himself with the Communist Party in order to be able to fight back against occupation from other groups. Why was this a problem? Well, what happened was that because Ho Chi Minh was, and again, this, I'm not an expert on Vietnam, but this is my conclusion. Because Ho Chi Minh aligned himself with the communists, he had pulled his people into a bigger fight that had nothing to do with them. He had pulled his people in the middle of a battle to the point where Vietnam, that little tiny country all the way over in East Asia, became ground zero for one of the greatest, largest epic battles between Americans and communists on the planet. One of the greatest wars on this planet occur right here in his backyard. So you had Vietnamese people fighting against their own relatives, brother against brother, uncle against cousin. People that used to love each other were out here trying to kill each other. They dropped more bombs on Vietnam, this little tiny country, than were dropped by all the countries in all of World War II combined. That's how bad they destroyed Vietnam, tore that country apart. Why was it a mistake for Ho Chi Minh? Well, because he pulled his people into a fight that did not belong to them. Instead of thinking that liberation is going to come to us by us going to a bigger power who's going to give us liberation, he should have actually said, you know what, we can liberate ourselves. We don't want no parts in anything y'all got going on. We will defend our home territory like crazy. We will take everything that we have to defend ourselves more than we defend anybody else. I believe that would have been a better strategy that could have allowed Vietnam to become liberated without Vietnam being destroyed by this bigger civil war that had nothing to do with them. Why do I tell the story about Ho Chi Minh and Vietnam? Well, because when I think of that story, I think about black people. Black people get caught instead of an American versus communist battle, we get fought in a different kind of battle, which is actually quite similar if you look at the roots. It is the liberals versus the conservatives, the right wing versus the left wing, the Democrats versus the Republicans, the fascists against the leftists, right? You got the Trump supporting rednecks against the Antifa radicalists or whatever you want to call them. I forgot what they were, anarchists, the anarchists on the far left against the extreme capitalists on the far right. That's very similar in its roots to the battle between the United States and the Soviet Union, the leftists against the fascists, the capitalists against the communists. That's the same battle that happened in Vietnam, that destroyed Vietnam. That's happening right here in the United States. Again, a lot of people want to make this a black-white thing. This is not a black-white thing. I know a lot of Trump supporters who are black. I know a lot of Trump supporters who don't run around saying, I hate black people. They say, I hate Antifa. This is left against right. They want you to believe it's black-white, because they want to pull you into the war. They want you to believe that every Trump supporter hates all black people, and that people in the Trump supporting party want you to believe that the Democratic Party is nothing but a big plantation. All those things can be true. We know all of us knows a car carrying redneck who will shoot a black person in a second, but all of us also know a lot of liberals on the left who treat black people like we are nothing, like we are complete cockroaches. So what I'm here to say is that we shouldn't make the same mistake as Ho Chi Minh. Instead of doing what Ho Chi Minh did and to believe that somebody else, a bigger power, can give you your liberation, I think it's a better strategy to understand that this is not your fight. You can get liberation yourself. You turn inward toward each other, use your resources to defend your own territory, and then you protect yourself from the greater civil war that's going on outside. Because believe me, the ship called America is on its way down. America is a sinking ship. It is the question of black people. Are we going to stay on that ship and go down with the ship? Or are we trying to build a better ship or build a lifeboat so that we're going to be okay once this is all over with? Because right now I see a lot of people jumping on one side or the other, a lot of black folks getting real too caught up in this Republican Democrat thing. And I'm telling you, I don't see anything that black people are going to gain from either side winning this war. And I think it's only going to get worse. So again, I reiterate to you, black people, if you want my 2 cents on this whole issue, this is not your fight. All these people hate you. They will only engage with you to the extent that they can use you as pawns to pursue their broader agenda, no differently from the way the capitalists and the communists were fighting during the Vietnam War. The capitalists and the communists are fighting right now. The Republicans on the right, with the Mitch McConnell types, the Donald Trump types, are fighting against the people on the left, the Joe Bidens and the Bill Clintons and whatever else. I'm not getting into none of that. So that's my 2 cents on what's going on. If you could, please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to drboystv.com if you like intelligent black conversation. We'll keep talking about this as it evolves, but everything we do from a black perspective. That's all I care about. So take care, guys. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. Peace.